What if I told you that the very medical tests your doctor orders to keep you safe might actually be the thing putting your health at risk? It sounds backward, right? We've been conditioned to believe that more screening always equals more safety, that catching something early is always a win. But as we cross the threshold of 60, the math of medicine starts to change in a way that most people aren't prepared for. Today, I'm digging into a controversial but essential topic: the 3 common medical tests that, according to a massive wave of research published just in the early months of 2026, often do more harm than good for seniors. I'm not talking about fringe theories or wellness trends. I'm talking about clinical data from institutions like the Journal of the American Geriatric Society and the Choosing Wisely campaign that suggest overdiagnosis has become a silent epidemic. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which tests might be leading you down a path of unnecessary procedures, the cascade effect that turns a simple screen into a health crisis, and, most importantly, how to have a high-level conversation with your doctor about what your body truly needs versus what is just a medical routine. Stick with me, because this information could quite literally save your quality of life. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is the place where we dig into the real science behind aging, longevity, and vitality, without the hype, without the scare tactics, and without trying to sell you a miracle cure. Today, we're tackling something that genuinely shocked me when I started reviewing the latest geriatric data. We often view medical tests as neutral information gathering tools, but for seniors, those tools can sometimes turn into biological burdens. To understand why a medical test can suddenly turn traitor after age 60, we have to look at the unique mechanics of the aging body. Think of your body like a high-performance engine that has been running for 6 decades. When the engine was new, it could handle the stress test of aggressive diagnostics. But as the years pass, the filters, your liver and your kidneys, don't process the dyes, the stresses, or the recovery from invasive procedures as efficiently as they once did. This creates a dangerous paradox. You might be looking for a problem to fix, but the process of looking creates a much bigger problem than the one you were trying to find. This isn't just a theory. It's a reality for millions of seniors. In the United States, roughly 30% of adults over the age of 65 undergo at least one medical test every year that is clinically considered low value, meaning the potential for harm outweighs the potential for benefit. Let's get straight to the first test doctors are increasingly worried about: routine PSA screening for prostate cancer in men over 70. Now, before you think I'm suggesting we ignore cancer, let's look at the staggering 2026 data. Prostate cancer is unique because it often grows so slowly that most men will die with it, not of it. Recent studies show that for men in their 70s and 80s, the PSA test leads to a massive amount of overtreatment. For every 1,000 men screened in this age bracket, fewer than 1 life is saved, but dozens will suffer from lifelong complications like urinary incontinence or impotence due to biopsies and surgeries for cancers that never would have caused a single symptom. The harm here isn't the test itself, it's the ripple effect. A slightly elevated PSA leads to a biopsy. The biopsy leads to an infection or a surgical intervention. For a man in his 70s, those complications are often more life-threatening than the slow-growing cells the doctor found. This brings us to the second test on our list, and this one is for the ladies: routine mammograms for women over 75. Again, this is a topic surrounded by emotion, but the science of 2026 is becoming very clear. Breast cancer in older women often behaves much differently than it does in younger women. It tends to be much slower growing. When we screen women in their late 70s or 80s, we frequently find stage 0 or very early stage cancers that would have remained silent for the rest of the woman's natural life. However, once that C word is mentioned, the medical machine kicks in. Radiation, surgery, and hormonal therapies follow. In a senior, these treatments can be devastating to the immune system, heart health, and bone density. A major review published in early 2026 followed 5,000 women over the age of 80 and found that those who continued regular screening had higher rates of anxiety and surgical trauma, but absolutely no significant difference in overall survival compared to those who stopped. We have to ask ourselves, are we treating the patient or are we treating the image on the screen? The third test is perhaps the most common and, in many ways, the most physically taxing: routine colonoscopies for those over 75 or 80. As we age, the lining of the colon becomes thinner and more fragile. The risk of a perforation, a literal tear in your intestine during the procedure, increases significantly once you pass 75. But it's not just the procedure, it's the prep. The intense dehydration and electrolyte shifts required to clear the system for a colonoscopy can trigger kidney failure or heart arrhythmias in a senior body. The 2026 medical consensus is shifting rapidly toward non-invasive tests like fecal immunochemical tests, FIT, or stopping screening altogether if your previous decade of results was clear. The harm here is the biological price your organs pay for a procedure that looks for a disease that takes 10 to 15 years to develop. If you are 82 years old, looking for a polyp that might become a problem when you're 97 is a poor trade-off for the risk of a heart event today. Now, I want to address a very important part of the 2026 research that involves racial and ethnic health disparities in these medical tests. It's not a topic often discussed in wellness videos, but the data is too important to ignore. For instance, research published in early 2026 shows that the harm of overscreening is not distributed equally. In African American communities, men are often diagnosed with more aggressive forms of prostate cancer at a younger age. This means that while a 75-year-old white man might safely stop PSA testing, a 75-year-old black man might still benefit from it because his risk profile is different. Conversely, Hispanic and Asian American seniors are statistically more likely to be subjected to low-value diagnostic imaging for minor symptoms, leading to higher rates of incidentalomas, finding tiny spots on the lungs or liver that mean nothing but led to a spiral of expensive and risky follow-up tests. We are moving into an era of precision medicine where we realize that a 70-year-old black woman, a 65-year-old Hispanic man, and an 80-year-old white man all have vastly different biological math. The one-size-fits-all screening schedule is a relic of the past. In 2026, the best doctors are looking at the whole person: your ethnicity, your family history, your current energy levels, and your specific medications before they hand you a lab slip. If your doctor is ordering tests based solely on your age without considering your unique background, that is a red flag. So why is this happening? Why is the medical system so obsessed with these tests even when the data says they might be harmful? It comes down to what scientists call lead time bias. This is a tricky concept, so let me explain it. A screening test makes it look like you're living longer because it finds the disease earlier. But often, the date of death doesn't actually change. You just spend more of your remaining years being a patient instead of a person. You spend 5 extra years in treatment for a condition that wasn't going to kill you anyway. In the senior community, this medicalization of life is a genuine thief of joy and vitality. Another factor is defensive medicine. In our current legal climate, doctors are often more afraid of missing a diagnosis than they are of over-treating a patient. They order the test to protect their records, but it's your body that has to deal with the consequences. This is why you must be your own chief medical officer. You have to be the one to ask, what is the goal of this test? So after hearing all this, the natural question is, okay, what can I actually do? How do I navigate this system without being overtreated or underdiagnosed? This is the part of the video that I think matters most. The science of 2026 isn't telling us to stop seeing doctors. It's telling us to be smarter. First, the wait and see question. Whenever a doctor orders a test, ask this specific question: how will the results of this test change my treatment plan? If the answer is, we'll just monitor it, then ask if you can skip the test and go straight to monitoring the symptoms. If the test won't change what you're doing today, it might be a test you don't need. Second, focus on functional vitality over diagnostic perfection. Biological age matters more than chronological age. Instead of focusing on every spot on a scan, prioritize tests measuring real-world health, grip strength, gait speed, and cognitive clarity. These predict a happy life better than a PSA score. Third, demand a medication and test audit. Many medications make test prep dangerous. If you are on a diuretic, colonoscopy prep can trigger kidney failure. Ask your pharmacist if your current medications make specific screenings riskier. Fourth, be wary of the cascade effect. If a test finds a shadow, the system chases it. In 2026, we know watchful waiting is often better. Ask to recheck in 6 months instead of doing an immediate biopsy. Fifth, watch out for direct-to-consumer screening. We are living in an era where companies are marketing whole-body MRIs or early detection blood tests directly to seniors through social media. In 2026, the cautionary tales are stacking up. These tests are famous for finding false positives, things that look like cancer but aren't. For a senior, the stress of a false positive can lead to Takotsubo syndrome, also known as broken heart syndrome, which is a very real and dangerous cardiac event triggered by emotional stress. Just because you can scan your whole body doesn't mean you should. I want to zoom out for a second because I think this research represents something really important about how we think about the aging body. For a long time, the medical world treated aging as a series of defects that needed to be found and eradicated. You're old, so you must be broken. Let's find the break. But what the latest science is showing us is that the senior body isn't a broken version of a 20-year-old. It's a shifting version. It's a body that has developed its own wisdom and its own balance. When we go hunting for trouble with aggressive screening, we often disrupt that balance. We turn a healthy 75-year-old who enjoys gardening and walking into a cancer patient who is bedridden from radiation for a tumor that was never going to move. That isn't health. That's a tragedy of modern medicine. Precision health in 2026 is about supporting the whole system, not just obsessing over a single organ or a single number on a lab report. There are already researchers working on AI-guided screening that can look at your entire medical history and tell a doctor, based on this patient's unique genetics and current health, a mammogram has a 90% chance of causing harm and only a 2% chance of helping. We are entering an era of personalized biological support where the decision to test will be as unique as your thumbprint. We are at the very beginning of this story, but the direction is unmistakable. The era of mass-marketed senior testing is ending, and the era of thoughtful, individualized care is beginning. If there is one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this: you are the expert on your own life. If a test feels too aggressive, if the prep makes you feel weak, or if the stress of the screening is stealing your sleep, don't ignore that. Your body is giving you data that a machine can't see. Your quality of life is the ultimate metric. A perfect test result isn't worth a body that is too exhausted to enjoy the day. Your health is a dynamic, living conversation between you and your environment. It's not a checklist of screens and scans. In 2026, we are finally realizing that the best test for a senior might just be a long conversation with a doctor who knows their name, their history, and their heart. I want to spend a moment talking about the hidden cost of these tests, the financial burden. We often talk about the physical harm, but the financial toxicity of overscreening is a major health factor for seniors on fixed incomes. When a routine test leads to a cascade of specialist visits, copays, and medications, it often eats into the budget for things that actually do improve health, like high-quality food, social activities, and home safety modifications. A 2026 study found that seniors who were overscreened had higher rates of financial stress-related illness. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your heart is to keep that money in your pocket and spend it on a healthy dinner with your family. And let's talk about the hospital trap. Many of these tests require you to go into a hospital or a large surgical center. In 2026, hospitals are still struggle points for seniors because of delirium. Even a minor procedure that requires sedation can cause post-operative delirium in older adults, a state of confusion that can last for days or weeks and significantly increases the risk of long-term cognitive decline. If you can avoid a procedure that requires going under, you are protecting your brain. The brain is the most precious asset you have. Don't trade its clarity for a routine screen that doesn't offer a clear benefit. We also need to look at circulation and energy. Many of the tests I've mentioned can lead to periods of inactivity. If a colonoscopy prep leaves you weak for 3 days or a biopsy requires you to rest for a week, you are losing muscle mass and cardiovascular conditioning. For a senior, a week of bed rest can be the equivalent of a year of aging in terms of muscle loss. This immobilization harm is rarely discussed when a doctor hands you a lab slip, but it's one of the most significant risks of the medical cascade. So how do we move forward? We move forward with precision advocacy. When you go into that doctor's office, bring a notebook, bring a friend or a family member, and most importantly, bring your questions. Ask, what is the number needed to treat for this test? This is a scientific term. It asks, how many people like me need to take this test to save one life? For many of these screenings, that number is in the thousands. If the number is that high, you have to decide if you want to be one of the thousands who deal with the risks for a tiny fraction of a chance at a save. Ask, is there a less invasive alternative? In 2026, we have incredible blood-based screenings and ultrasound technologies that are far less risky than traditional biopsies or colonoscopies. If your doctor isn't offering these, ask why. Ask, what happens if we do nothing for 6 months? This is often the most powerful question in medicine. If the answer is probably nothing, then you have your answer. You can choose to enjoy your life and check back later. If this video helped you or made you think twice about your next checkup, please hit that like button. It helps get this message out to other seniors who might be caught in the medical cascade without even knowing it. And subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive, where we'll be looking at the 5 medications seniors should question and how to safely talk to your doctor about de-prescribing. Drop a comment below. Have you ever felt pressured into a test you didn't want? Or have you experienced a cascade where one test led to a string of complications? I read every comment, and your stories help shape the future of this channel. We're in this together. Take care of your heart. Take care of your mind, and most importantly, take care of your peace of mind. You've worked hard to reach this stage of life. You deserve to enjoy it without being a permanent resident of a waiting room. I'll see you in the next one. I want to leave you with one final thought. The goal of this channel is to give you the agency of information. When you have the data, you have the power. You don't have to be a passive recipient of healthcare. You can be an active participant in life care. And in 2026, life care is the only thing that matters. It's about making choices that align with your values, your comfort, and your joy. Take a deep breath. You're doing great. Navigation of the medical system is a skill, and you're getting better at it every day. I'm proud of you for taking the time to watch this and for caring enough about your health to look past the headlines, ensuring you stay empowered and informed about your long-term well-being and personal vitality. Take care, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.